Hi, everyone. Welcome to the OCBC Sustainability Innovation Challenge 2022. Appreciate your interest. And we shall start with Adam, co-founder and chairman at Padang & Co. Over to you, Adam.
Thanks, Diva. Good day to all of you, wherever you may be. I'm Adam Lal, co-founder of Padang & Co. And as Diva said, welcome to the information session for OCBC Sustainability Innovation Challenge 2022. This challenge is a key initiative for OCBC Bank to lead and sponsor innovation solutions to drive sustainable innovation across the region, working closely with their business partners and stakeholders in the ecosystem. In this inaugural edition, OCBC is collaborating with SATS, Asia's leading provider of food solutions and gateway services to address challenges in food production, chiefly the management and reduction of food and packaging waste. Padang & Co. is an innovation catalyst and has had sustainability as part of our DNA since inception 10 years ago. So it's a real privilege for us to design and to deliver a program like this for these leading organizations, each who have such strong commitment to sustainability, evidenced not only by strategy, but by action. I think many of us realize that over 800 million people go to bed hungry every night. And sadly, it's getting worse. The pandemic, climate change, Russian invasion of the Ukraine are all impacting supply. Yet there's a growing demand as the world's population heads towards 10 billion by 2050. And emerging economies are seeking more food and more nutritious food. We need to produce more food, full stop. Yet around a third of food production is lost or wasted between farm production all the way through the supply chain to the end consumer. We all know how much food we see left on airline trays, plates in restaurants, your own home, or even clearing out our fridges. So reducing such waste, of course, means the increase required to feed the world is lessened, as is the call on the attendant resources required to produce the food, which in turn reduces global carbon footprint. So for all you solution providers out there, whether entrepreneurs, innovators, startups, scale-ups, this program is an amazing opportunity to receive substantial grants and engage with SATS to accelerate the development and adoption of your solutions. Padang & Co. will work with you to customize and shape your proposals to best answer the challenges. So now I'd like to hand back to my colleague Diva to outline the structure of the program, to be followed by our friends from OCBC and SATS to take you through the challenge statements in detail, providing context and insights. Diva.
Thanks, Adam. Yep. Once again, welcome to the session, those who joined slightly late. Next slide, please. So to start with, we would like to just cover quickly who should apply. Any startup, scale up at any stage of fundraising that's actually looking at addressing food waste, creating more circular ecosystem, and also looking at a growth platform to demonstrate your capability, or even to expand into the Asia is actually welcome to apply. And why you should apply, there's a great opportunity awaits you. There will be a proof of concept or pilot project that you can actually run with SATS team, and with a very big grant support from OCBC amounting up to Singapore dollars 80,000 to support the entire process. So it's not easy to usually get through a company and conduct a pilot project without going through a strict procurement process. However, here we are really providing the right platform to springboard all of you for that opportunity. Yeah. Next. Yep. In terms of the entire challenge timeline, the challenge has been open on 27th May, and ever since then we have been driving people to this info session. So today we are running the info session for you to get more information, ask relevant questions in order for you to shape up your solution. And we will be closing the challenge on 25th July. So that's midnight Singapore time. And by then, you can perfect your solution and make your submission. Some of you, I believe, already on the draft stage on the application. So for you, please continue to work on your solution and make the submission accordingly. And in the week of 8th August, we will be announcing the shortlist. So these are companies that will be selected for the final pitch day. And between August to September, we will be coaching your company, if you are shortlisted, to have the final pitch preparation ready. This could be just a pitch deck or a small solution prototype, etc. It all depends on what the proposal is. And then finally, on the week of 19th September, we will be conducting the final pitch day. This will be a grand event managed by Padang and hosted both by SATS and OCBC. Next. Yep. So for the evaluation, I believe most of you probably already have seen the website, gone through the criteria. However, I would like to just quickly recap this. So there are 4 criteria that we are looking at. For challenge 1 and 2, the requirements are pretty much the same across all the criteria. For challenge 3, we have higher emphasis on innovativeness and would like to see a lot more emphasis on that component. Yep. So please prepare your solution in proposal in this format, addressing all these criteria. And if you have any question, feel free to email us through the challenge website and can help you to clarify. Next. So for those who haven't made your profile or made an application yet or not in draft at this moment, I would like to just walk you through on the process. So going to the challenge website, once you have found out all the information about this challenge, all the challenge statements, etc., you can actually proceed to create a profile on Padang Innovation Ecosystem. So that's all linked on the challenge page, as this entire challenge is posted on Padang Innovation Ecosystem platform. So once you have created a profile, you can then start to create your application. So there's a form for you to fill in, and as part of the form, you will then attach the deck that you will create to represent your proposed solution. And once you are in the works of your application, please also take note that you can save your application in draft. So that means you don't have to complete everything one go. You can fill in the information, and then if you feel you need to work further on your deck, you can always save the entire application on draft and continue to work on your solution until you feel satisfied. And then reattach the deck and then hit submit, and that's it. You are in. And another question that usually we get, if you can actually submit for more multiple challenge statement, like if you feel your solution can address challenge 1 and 3, for example, yes, we accept multiple challenge statement application. So feel free to just create another application for another challenge statement and make your submission. Yeah, so that's basically the process. And once again, if you have any question in that process, if you feel any challenge in getting to the application platform, do let us know. We can help you with that. All right, next. Yep, so I think with that, we have covered the process for you to basically participate in this challenge. And next up, I would like to invite Vincent Teo, VP Strategic Planning Office from OCBC Bank, to share a few words with us. Vincent.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. I understand that we have an international audience here. So if it is in the middle of the night or early in the morning over where you are, kudos and a shout out to you all who are joining the session with us today. So I'd like to take the next 60 to 90 seconds to quickly introduce a little bit about ourselves, especially for the benefit for the international audience, and share a little bit regarding the why are we doing this, the reason behind us having this innovation challenge. So first up, OCBC, we are one of the largest banking group in Southeast Asia. In fact, we are the oldest bank in Singapore. This year, we are celebrating our 90-year anniversary. Singapore is where we are headquartered. And our vision is to be the leading financial services partner for sustainable Asia. Our key markets are SMIC, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Greater China, supported by a global footprint in 19 countries across all time zones, offices in Europe, US, Middle East, Asia, and Australia. With our key markets in both developed and emerging Asia, having a sustainable Asia takes on a very material and strategic importance for us. That's why we're having our first Sustainability Innovation Challenge, and we couldn't have found a better partner than SATS to jointly organize this and bring this challenge to the global stage. So why are we doing this as a bank? Two reasons. Number one, we want to partner and support like-minded corporates like SATS as they push the boundaries of innovation in sustainability, both in their sector and as well as their own businesses and operations. Secondly, we understand that scaling sustainability-related technologies and products is tough. It's not a mobile app or software solution that scales digitally and readily. We want to help companies globally to expand and grow here. So if you are already Singaporean-based or based around the region, great. We want to grow with you and support you in this journey. But if you are not, what are you waiting for? This is a great growth platform for you to grow in this region, get your feet in this region, and potentially strike a partnership with a leading company here in Asia. So we look forward to your participation to the Innovation Challenge, and we also look forward to some of the questions that you may have and regarding the program. So over to our next speaker. Thank you.
Thanks, Vincent. Next, I would like to invite Tan Yen Ling, Head of Sustainability and Strategic Projects at SATS, to share a couple of words and take us through the challenge statements as well. Over to you, Yen Ling.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the info session. I'm Yen Ling. You can just call me Yen, short for Japanese currency. I'm head of the Sustainability and Strategic Projects team over at SATS. One of our key roles and responsibility is to help align SATS overall sustainability objectives with our business operations and strategy. And I'll take you through a little bit of an overview of how we do that and some of our current initiatives. For some of you who may not be familiar with SATS, we are Asia's leading provider of food solutions and gateway services, and we are present in over 55 countries, 14 countries and 55 cities across the world, from Asia Pacific, UK, the Middle East, as well as over in Southeast Asia. All right, and currently we are in the business. Our two main business pillars are in the great gateway services, which are primarily the ground handling services, cargo services, as well as we're even operating a cruise terminal at the Marina Bay. And the main topic for today would be actually the food solutions area, where my colleagues from the catering team will also be joining us later, and to also share some of the insights and the real challenge and challenges that we face in the operations when we're dealing with catering, large-scale catering, food waste, as well as packaging waste. So without further ado, I'll just run through the deck quickly with everyone. So for SATS, our main purpose, as you see at the top, is to feed and connect communities. And our vision is to be the market leader by delighting customers with innovative solutions, food solutions, as well as seamless connections. Our main core values are the ones stated below, and our mission, as you can see, are about ensuring that we build a resilient supply chain and we create tasty, healthy, quality food in sustainable ways, for our customers. And our customers range across in-flight services, the airlines, as well as the institutional markets, institutions such as the healthcare, hospitals, schools, and even defense catering. So we have a wide range of different services, which also includes food distribution and retail markets. So in that sense, SATS is a very diverse company, and there are many opportunities that we can work with partners or even startups and SMEs like all of you who have very unique and capable solutions that has the potential to scale even in our other regional markets. And second part is on the gateway services side. As mentioned, we are also in the area of connecting people, families, passengers, through the passenger services, as well as cruise lines and even cargo. In supply chain, we also manage the cool pot for perishables as well as pharmaceutical products, cold chain logistics, and the e-commerce area. So this is a broad overview of what the business of SATS is. Our sustainability framework, as you can see, we actually launched the report last week. All right, the latest financial year sustainability report was published on our website. This is the framework that is split into 3 main themes, which are material to our business and our operations. And each of these material topics are also mapped to the UN SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. So our 2030 goals in particular, let's like to zoom in straight to the second theme on reducing food and packaging waste, which is the main theme for this program and partnership with OCBC. The main 2030 goal is to halve our food waste in all operations. And we're actually looking at the intensity, meaning the efficiency of how we can maintain the productivity of our food production, while maintaining the food waste to a very minimal level. Okay, so the second one is on packaging waste. So we're hoping to also introduce 100% sustainable packaging by 2030. So these are our very ambitious goals that we hope to actually be able to implement and pilot some solutions in our operations. Some overview of our existing programs in the area of cargo and ground handling. These are some main programs that we have done, initiatives over the years, in terms of electrification, even exploring biodiesel, as well as looking at cleaner forms of energy in our cargo operations. Even for solarization, I think at Changi Airport, we are located at Changi Airport. We are actually one of the largest. We have the largest deployment of solar panels across all our facilities, including our catering facilities, that spans over 7 football fields. So it's the largest over at Changi. And I think more interesting, which with more future, when we're looking at more forward-looking examples, would be the state-of-the-art central kitchens that we are building. We're currently building one over, we call it the SATS Food Hub, over at the Jurong Innovation District. And the groundbreaking was just held a couple of months back. Some of you may have seen it in the news. And the second one we are also building is the new central kitchen is over in Tianjin, China. And many of these this state-of-the-art kitchen will also involve the processes, the design and manufacturing of our products in terms of optimizing food and packaging waste, and trying to be as efficient, and including advanced manufacturing and sustainability features within these central kitchens. In the area of food and packaging waste, currently we do have an on-site biodigester, as well as in our production kitchens, where we are producing the in-flight as well as institutional catering meals. We have started implementing an AI tracking system to track our food waste. And we're also doing a pilot on an anaerobic digestion over in our central kitchen in the west side in Pandan Loop. So there are many areas that we are working with, including with the collaboration with Singapore Airlines on introducing sustainable food packaging. As you can see on the bottom left hand, that was the new serviceware that was rolled out last year. And it's meant for short haul to medium haul flights that can be double catered, and the waste can come back to Singapore, where it's centrally managed by SATS. So it's a contained process that we think from end to end. When we introduce food packaging and type food onto a flight, we actually also think about how we manage the downstream process. And over the years, SATS has also invested in food technologies that can produce a large batch production with extended shelf life. That also has the aim of reducing food waste, given the fact that with the longer shelf life, and we are able to keep food fresh, for a longer period of time, we're able to indirectly reduce waste as the food can be consumed over a longer period of time. All right, so over to my next speaker and colleague, Raymond.
Right, I will go straight. Welcome everyone for this info session. I'll go straight into the challenge statement. I thought it would be good if I can bring everyone through our current waste map. This is a waste map that we have in our we have 2 in-flight catering facility in Singapore. And so I'll break it down. I'll spend a little time on explaining where the source of waste currently and what the type of waste that we take in and what are we doing to the waste, some treatment and disposal method. And then you will actually link back to the challenge statement 1 and 2. Okay, let's start with the source of waste. We operate catering facility producing in-flight meals to most of the airlines flying out of Singapore. Okay, now the waste we have is of course is from the kitchen where we produce our food. Next is of course the airlines flying into Singapore will also bring back or bring along some of the waste from their aircraft. Okay, and we also have some waste from our warehouse, mostly our packaging waste. Okay, the type of waste that we receive into our facility include food waste, metal, bottle, used cooking oil, and packaging waste. So what do we do with all these waste that come into our facility? Basically, we have a recycling program for some of those inorganic waste, glass, plastic, metal, paper, used cooking oil. And currently, I think as explained by Yanning earlier, you see that we have some food waste digester that we have put in place in our facility. But as most of you will be aware, most of the food digester that we have is treating organic waste rather than mixed waste. So most of our mixed waste that we receive back from the airline are not segregated. And this is one of the main challenge that we have in a catering in-flight environment. Now, back to the challenge statement 1. We mentioned about segregation of waste. Those waste that coming back from the aircraft is difficult because as you may have noticed when you board a flight, when you finish the food on the tray that's served on, for you, they end up in the waste bin in the aircraft. And the waste bin come back, all the waste actually are mixed together, whether it's organic or inorganic. And that is where our main challenge is. Because once you come back to our facility, most of them will be actually thrown away, except for some of the bulk packaging waste that offloaded from the flight. We will try to segregate those that we can do. But most of the waste on the tray, on the food oven, we call it oven rack, is all mixed together with the packaging. So it invariably end up in the compactor, and this is being sent to the incinerator for burning in Singapore context. Okay, so I think I'll show the next slide to explain better on what I meant by mixed waste. Okay, these are some photographs that we have showing what came back from the flight. As you can see, you have a paper bag, plastic bag, leftover food from the tray, and it's very difficult for us to do a segregation right now. I mean, manually, of course, we can do it, but it'll take a lot of effort and also a lot of space to do this. So this is where this challenge statement 1 we have put out is to address this main problem that we have, to segregate the mixed waste. And if you can't actually segregate the mixed waste, of course, we will try to have a way to treat them. That means a system or a method that we can treat both the organic and inorganic waste. That is also one of our objective. Right. So some of those food items, we can see that, okay, these are very familiar. You go on a flight, you will receive some of these items. And of course, not every passenger will finish a food, depending on the quality and the type of food that we uplifted on the flight. So we have, whether it's from bread item to juices, to paper packaging and all those. So these come in, we call it an inbound mixed waste. And you also have wrappers, container, metal, aluminum. I mean, aluminum is one of the biggest component of inorganic material that we receive, mainly because aluminum, of course, is being used to wrap up the food so that the crew can heat them on board aircraft. So most of the packaging material is made out of aluminum. And of course, you have some wine, spirit bottle is part and parcel of what we get back from the flight. Now, I'll lead into challenge statement 2 because that's what we want to do. You heard about what we are doing right now. We have a digester that can actually churn out product we known as RDF, refuse-derived fuels. But this digester that we have is actually able to take in some element of non-organic, but it's only a small percentage. So what we do is we just throw this waste into the digester, and the output, besides reducing the volume of the waste, it will also help to convert them into RDF. Currently, this is being piloted or pioneered together with Singapore Airlines for their noodle box meal uplift. I think Yan also touched on that earlier on. So what we want to look at for challenge statement 2 is how can we turn our waste into waste to energy product or other byproduct that can actually be green, be sustainable, be friendly to the environment. So that is one of the main objectives for this challenge statement number 2. Okay. That's all I want to share on challenge statement 1 and 2. Maybe we should proceed to challenge statement 3 first. Yan Ling?
Okay, thanks, Raymond. So, can everyone see? All right. Okay, so for challenge statement 3, it's a little bit broader. Raymond shared challenge statements 1 and 2, which are very specific to the operations, the current operations, and the processes and model that we are facing at the moment, due to the nature of the business. All right, but challenge statement 3, we like to bring everybody to think a bit out of the box, to actually look beyond just what we manage in terms of mixed waste for flights, but to look at a systemic kind of solution that will also involve an ecosystem impact, that may involve an impact on the waste ecosystem, the way things are being manufactured, and so on and so forth. So as I shared briefly in the introduction, SETS also serves, institutional catering in the non-travel business. All right, and we have a wide range and diverse range of business channels, from food distribution, retail. Some of you may have seen our food products, actually, whether it's the ready-to-eat meals or the frozen products in the supermarkets in Singapore, like NTUCs and all that, or even the convenience stores. You actually see them because our core business is in helping people to eat well, right? And we want to feed as many people in the communities as possible. So with that in mind, We also look at the non-travel business where the waste may not be centralized or controlled or can be controlled by sets, but we need to actually look upstream, further upstream in perhaps the way we design certain packaging material or how we design certain processes in a production facility. Are there ways to close the loop, in getting individuals in the community involved in recycling, reusing, or is there a certain take-back model? Is there a certain circular mindset that even customers can be involved in and can play a part, to innovate something from an ecosystem perspective? So for this third challenge statement is actually much broader, and we hope to elevate it to be able to, come up with something that can be even Singapore's first, Asia's first or world's first kind of a solution that can also target the whole end-to-end process, from the way, we design, how we source for raw material. If we look upstream at our raw material choices, in product design and looking at the overall carbon footprint, and even the downstream impact on customers when our food products leave the shelves and leave our production facilities. So I hope this can give you a better understanding. This is an example of some insights that we got from our preliminary market study. Some circular models that we see are currently available are things like, recycling vending machines, or even looking at edible packaging solutions that are pretty unique, and of course there is a lot of shaping consumer behavior as well in this process, in trying to make this solution succeed and be able to commercialize. We also need to ensure that customers want and desire such processes and food products, including the packaging. So this is just a sharing on challenge statement 3. We can move into the Q&A sessions from this. Thank you.
Thank you, Yen Ling. Thank you, Raymond, for sharing about the challenge statements. And we would like to now once again open the floor to everyone to start typing your questions. So we already have a couple of them there, but if you have other questions, feel free to start typing into the Q&A box that's just down at the console. So we'll start with the first question. This is from an anonymous attendee. I believe this is for you, Raymond. For the waste map, do you have a specific number as to the volume of the waste? As I'm looking at a specific waste, plastic waste and plastic cup waste, I think type of waste.
Okay, are you able to hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. In terms of the specific quantity of waste we have, overall waste, how much we churn out. Of course, pre-COVID, much more compared to current, because the meal volume in the airline business and not pick up to the pre-COVID level. But we previously did some assessment on the organic and inorganic. We don't do it, by the type of inorganic, but we do it roughly about 40% inorganic. But if you look at just plastic alone, we don't have that. Although we may have some statistic on the plastic material that we have generated from our production. So that one, we may have some figure, but we can share that subsequently. But based on the mixed waste that coming back from the aircraft, we do not have the specific quantity that is being so-called, we call it offloaded from the flight. Yeah.
Thanks, Raymond. And I think that also answers the question from Kevin Houston, who asked about what quantity of organic waste. Previously it was plastic, now it's organic waste, but I think, Raymond, you answered both questions. Next, Not another anonymous attendee would like to clarify if bioplastic is considered one of the byproduct in challenge statement 2.
We'll need, I'm not very clear on what do you mean by bioplastic as an output byproduct. As far as I understand, that if the output is bioplastic, then it will most probably that we will have to segregate the plastic first from the mixed waste. So I'm not so sure whether I got it correct. So I may need some clarification on this question.
Thanks, Raymond. Yep. So if you're there in this audience, please type in another question just to clarify that point. Next, we have a question from Frank, Ecoplastil Uganda. So we are an incentive-based materials company recycling plastics and construction waste into roofing tiles. So his question is it possible to run a pilot outside Singapore, to be particular in Africa, or they have to find, or they have to run a pilot in Singapore only?
I'll take this. I'm not so sure because one of the things that we face in this challenge is, those waste coming into Singapore. So if we need to do a pilot, which means that we may need to send out the waste, not so sure there's an issue in getting all this waste because most of the waste are mixed and include organic waste, food waste, which may not be able to withstand, if we further delay in treating them. So maybe an issue if we do a pilot outside of Singapore. Right.
Thanks, Raymond. Frank, we hope that answered the question. And you have the biggest company in Singapore, SATS, to partner with anyway. So yeah, they will be partnering with you for the pilot if your solution qualifies. Next, we have Claire asking a question, is it possible to apply along with a partner? For example, a packaging design company plus a packaging manufacturing company plus a digital solution company. Yep, I think, yeah,
so
the answer is...
As a team approach, the appropriate people coming together to create an archetypal solution, that's possible.
Yep, I hope that answers your question. Thanks, Adam. Next, what are your target markets and how are you assessing things to come up with your product ideas?
I think we'd need some more specifics for the folks to answer that question in terms of, target markets for which. And so whoever that question came from, perhaps you could type a more specific question or just add some further context so Raymond can perhaps address that.
Sure. Yep. Please type in further context. The next question, it's from Yuga's Commodity. The used cooking oil collector in Jakarta, understanding from the slides, SATS recycles UCO. Wonder if SATS also is an UCO importer from other countries.
No, we don't import used cook oil. What we have is used cook oil is actually from our production kitchen. So it's not, we don't collect too much of this used cook oil, but we do have some that we collect for recycling. And I understand that these are being used to convert to biodiesel for export to other countries. So, yeah.
Thanks, Raymond. Next, we have another question on challenge statement 3. Does it need to be related to food services only?
Hi, okay, I'll take this question. I would say no, it doesn't need to be only restricted to food services, although that would be the most relevant to SATS business. But if your solution is able to even look at the food system, and how SATS as one of the largest caterers in Singapore can actually play that role in scaling that system and that model, we'll be definitely very keen to explore that. Thank you.
Thanks, Yen Ling. Yep. Next question. What are possible closed environment where we could try reusable models? I mean, they're giving example airport, I believe, as one of the example. Anyone wants to take this question? Or do we need more context for this? Yeah, I believe, so Krisha from Salin PH, so please give a bit more context to your question. And yeah, we will answer that question again. Next, regarding segregation of mixed waste from the aircraft, is there existing conveyor belt? If not, could that be considered?
Okay, I mentioned earlier that the segregation of the mixed waste from the aircraft is okay. Besides, if you do it manually, even with the use of a conveyor belt, will require a lot of manpower as well as space. Right now, we are not doing that. We may do some segregation manually, like I mentioned earlier on, some of the packaging, big packaging, carton boxes, we may take it out before we throw into the compactor. But definitely, we can look at some conveyor system to segregate mixed waste if it really helps to do the job of segregating some of the organic and inorganic waste. Thanks.
Thanks, Raymond. Next, as there will be any number solution proposed, will you as the organizers look at solutions that may be complementary, and would you then approach the relevant companies to work together finding a consortium?
Typically, I don't think that's necessarily the way that we go. It's in individual organizations, teams, startups to make their responses. But if something looked very clear that there are sort of elements that one had that one didn't, but there was a way that they may be introduced to one another, could be something to be considered. But typically people put forward their own application as a solution, and it's not really our role to manage consortiums, but you never say never.
Thanks, Adam. Yep. Next, are you also addressing liquid waste such as unconsumed wine, beer, juices from the flight?
Okay, I'll take this. Maybe to explain, yes, when the mixed waste come back, you saw the picture I showed earlier. There are some liquid waste together with some of the Tetra bag juices and milk and all those. Wine and beer, I'm not so sure whether they'll balance to return back to the home base. Normally they'll dispose of wine and beer on the flight. Unless those that are not consumed, of course, the airline will recycle them. But I mentioned that mixed waste are currently thrown into our compactor, and our compactor there's actually a compaction. Okay, when we throw the waste into the compactor, we actually compress it, compact it, so excess liquid is actually drained off before we cut it away. So that's how currently we deal with it. Right.
Thanks, Raymond. Yep. Another question from Rachel. So she's asking, how can mixed waste be processed to make it beneficial? I mean, the output, I believe, she's asking what kind of output. Yeah.
I'm not so sure whether I get it, but I thought that one of the challenge statement is actually we want to see how we can treat the mixed waste, and of course it will be processed to make it beneficial. And yeah,
maybe I can take this. So that's precisely why we developed this challenge statement to address mixed waste in our operations, and look at ways where it can be converted to energy, waste to energy, and some kind of output that can be useful, such as in the form of electricity, in the form of compost or fertilizers, in the form of biogas, and other kinds of products that can be upcycled. So it really depends on the technologies and the innovation of all of you out there, that we are very keen to understand how waste to energy can be properly implemented and be meaningful and valuable. Thank you.
Thanks, Yanling. We got a response from the bioplastic clarification earlier, saying the bioplastics referred to a bio-based plastic usually can be degraded in environment, and we are currently converting used cooking oil into bioplastic through bioprocess. So would like to clarify if converting used cooking oil into bioplastic as a byproduct can actually address challenge statement 2.
Yeah, I think it's okay, good. I mean, we are looking at any use of the used cooking oil that we have, and if it can be converted to bioplastic, it will be good.
Yep.
Great. Thanks
Thanks
for the clarification.
Yep. Thanks, Raymond, and thanks, anonymous attendee. Yep. So we have another question. Is it possible to separate liquid waste from and contain them separately?
Yeah, actually, we are looking also, as part of this food waste management, to see how we can actually separate the liquid waste. But as I mentioned, there are all kind of liquid that we are getting back from the flight. So to collect the liquid waste and use it for some other purpose, that I hope that we can do that. But otherwise, we definitely can try to segregate the liquid from the waste as part of this solution to this challenge statement. Thanks.
Thanks, Raymond. And I think the final question here so far, how about focusing on empowering grassroots partners to strengthen segregation at source and promote solid waste management, and at the same time uplifting well-being of the grassroots community through innovative business models? I think that's exactly what we need to do. So, yeah, Raymond.
Yes, I think rightly pointed out, if we can do the segregation at source, that's a better option. But as we are addressing some of the mixed waste coming back from the flight, and we know that sometimes the cabin crew have time constraint to do some of the segregation on board, although we have tried to do it with some of our major customers, trying to do some segregation on board. Yes, it will be good if we can do it at the source, but we are trying to address those that we cannot, and when it end up in our facility, and how do we then manage the mixed waste? Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Raymond. We have a few more questions. So this one is from Rico Tech. We are a company that visualize waste via our digital platform and use the waste data to design efficient collection and recycle method. Does SATS already manage the waste produced in bracket by waste type category within the facility? If so, how do you collect and manage the waste data?
I think I've highlighted some of the things that we are currently doing. Example, the segregation of plastic, metal, paper, that we do have recycling agency that collect them and recycle them for their process. But what we have is, currently is from those that we can control, which means that if it's generated from our catering production facility, we can do that. The question is, those mixed waste coming back from the flights or from other sources that we cannot control, it'll be a bit difficult for us to do the segregation. And of course, we are trying to address them in this innovation challenge to be able to segregate and hopefully also able to treat the mixed waste. Thanks.
Thanks, Raymond. Next question. For the application deck, what kind of info is expected from applicants, apart from generally explaining solution idea, and what are the main points to include? So I think I can take this very quickly. So please refer back to the evaluation criteria once again. And I think as part of your deck, you should include your company info, use case, your technology, whatever that can actually support the solution that you're proposing. And if you're a young company, just focus on the technology and your solution. I think that will be sufficient. Yeah. And next question, this is from Tria. Are you able to share different food preparation method, convention, microwave on planes? And this is to assess material usage for packaging.
I can share what equipment they use on plane. We used to have various kind of ovens that are being used to heat up the food on board of aircraft. We have microwave. I mean, some of the airlines have microwave oven. And we also have convention oven. Some airlines also have steam oven. So if you're looking at the material usage for packaging for this purpose, I guess the heating temperature of the food on board aircraft ranges from 130 to about 160, 170 degrees. So that's what I can share with you on this question. Thanks.
Thanks, Raymond. One more question. Regarding sustainable development and solution like food waste are converted into biogas and fertilizers. Here in Philippines, we tried converting mining waste into usable products. Can it be possible to be part of the solution, part of the challenge, I think, proposal? I think to also answer this, I believe if your solution addresses the challenge statement, even some components of the challenge statement, I think we definitely encourage for you to make a submission, and then we will evaluate from there. All right, I think that's all the question we have for today. I would like to also remind everyone to scan the QR code on the screen that you see, so that takes you to the challenge website. And from there, if you have any further question, feel free to email us to clarify, and we'll be there to support you. Yeah. And I think with that, if there's nothing else from the team, don't think we have anything else to share. We really hope all of you here got all the information that's required, all your questions got answered, and you got all the points necessary to build your solution. And feel free to once again scan the QR code and visit the challenge website if you haven't. And if you have, now on your way, you can start to build the solution deck and complete your application. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much.